Don't see an alternative. I think you got to push him baby here if you're Nihal. A5, there is this weird move, knight d4, threatening 2 forks at once, so maybe that's what's giving him pause. But rook c7 in that position would have escaped both of them at the same time. Instead, he starts with rook d3, paving the way, Robert, for bishop c7.
Like right now?
Well, then rook d7.
Then bishop to a5, potentially.
Oh, forcing the rook trade, and I have rook takes b3.
But there's rook a8 check, so like you have all these intermezzo moves. Yeah, you know.
That was
ate my tactical Wheaties this morning with bishop. Look at this.
Yeah.
This is what I love about Nihal. He plays rook d3 instead of a more forcing move like pushing your past pawn or bishop c7. He's, as you're highlighting, bishop d2, b4, even g4 to kick the knight away from both the defensive d4 and the g7 pawn. I love the way he's playing this game, and I think that he's completely winning right now.
He's totally winning. Bishop d2, b4. And what's so debilitating if you're Hikaru is how easy it is to play with white in the next couple of moves. The path is so clear. So will Nakamura find some way to complicate the game, use this d-pawn? I don't see it. Bishop d2 coming to a theater near you.
Weird question, but with 20 seconds left, Hikaru's losing this game. Do you want another 5+1 game if you're Hikaru?
I don't think so. I don't think this is lost enough to warrant resignation. Not just yet.
And I feel like Hikaru is so confident in his quicker type controls. Like he's won how many title twos at this point that it's not worth, giving up chances in this game. But I was just thinking about that as the match clock. There it is. It hits 0. This is the last game of 5-minute plus 1 second increment chess. And right now, Nihal better win this game if he wants to maintain chances in this match.
Push him, baby. Rock him, cowboy. B4 is coming, but Nihal hesitating here. I think he's also weighing the option of trying to go after the d4 pawn. I don't think he should get waylaid by this pawn because the rook on d3 is doing a perfect job of restraining it, of keeping the third rank in order. And here comes Johnny.
What's wrong with b5 now? I mean, what is black's threat? I don't see a single threat.
No, he's just playing passive. Rook takes b5. Oh,
we've created one threat. We see it now.
Maybe rook a6 and then snake up the pawns of b6 and a5.
There's also rook a5 because the bishop on d2 defends it, and you're threatening b6 with the knight on f5 being loose.
That's some very sharp tactical vision, x-raying the knight.
Because one thing you want is after rook a5, you want black to play g6. Because then you could put your rook back on a7 and threaten back rank checkmates when you cut the king off. So I feel like inducing that g-pawn forward would be a good thing. So rook a5, bishop protects it, threatens b6. He rushes with g4, but won't that knight plant itself on h4?
Threatening rook takes d2. And don't forget about the simultaneous threat of rook takes b5. I think Nihal has just given Hikaru his first inkling of counterplay.
Wait,
and
rook
he's blundered rook takes b5. He's blundered rook takes b5, ab, rook takes h7, and then you can't even take d4. He wants bishop g3 in that position.
Exactly that. He wants bishop g3, kicking the knight back, then he'll take on d4. And I guess he thought this position would be winning, but we see the evaluation bar say, no, no, no. This is actually a position that black can hold with proper play.
And I think what he's missed, and perhaps what's giving him cold feet right now, is that in that resulting position, black's remaining rook can get behind the pawn with a check on the first rank. Nihal cannot afford to let this game slip, Robert.
And I think it is slipping through his fingers. Hikaru Nakamura, the wily veteran, he does not go down without a fight. And right now, he's ahead by almost a minute on the clock. He now has made his disadvantage only one pawn, but it's not going to be that easy. Even if the rook takes d4 and just parking the rook on d5, white will keep that extra pawn.
And you don't want to rush rook a1 check because then white would have refrained from rook takes d4 and put his own rook behind the pawn. Hikaru doing things in the right order. Rook d5 keeps the pawn alive. But how are you going to make progress? Black's rook is on an optimal square.
Okay, he's going to rook to b8 instead, just defending the rook from the pawn, from the front. Ooh, I don't know if I like king h7. Why did he go to f7?
Yeah, weird move. And now the rook drops back to d5. Bishop c7 and b6, Robert, is a massive threat.
And the big thing is knight e7, rook d7. The knight has to move again because the king isn't defending it. So bishop c7 right now.
Knight h4 check is a paper tiger. King drops back to f1. There are no forks.
The king just runs to the center where it wants to be anyway.
And b6 is actually a threat because there's an intermezzo check on h5 in the event of rook takes b6.
Wow. Okay, so this is a big moment for Hikaru. King to g8. Then you're just going to bring your king to where it belongs anyway, but b6 happens fast. Now, the pawn can't get to b7 easily. That's the good news for Hikaru. But the king is getting to the center. What's wrong with king e2?
Well, what's wrong with b6?
There's rook takes b5, king e2.
Oh, gosh, and Nihal walking on hot coals, but he's avoiding the landmines thus far. And Hikaru's clock is dropping. Maybe knight e5 here should be considered.
Knight e5, maybe g5. He goes knight to g5 instead. What about king e2, knight e4, trying to fork on c3? I get it. Rook d7. What's your idea?
Yeah, rook d7 is such a nice stabilizing move.
And getting away from all knight checks. That's important. Knights are such tricky pieces.
And the king can join the action with king c2. That rook is not stable on the b file where it has to remain to keep the b pawn restrained.
F4, please. F5 check.
Great move. God, Nihal just piling it on here.
F5. Where's the knight going?
Nowhere. It doesn't have any good squares. It's got to go back to f8 or banish to g5.
But it should be over. It's out of play. King c2 wins. Knight takes c7 loses on the spot because BC. So here's king c2, and this should be over. King c3.
But how do you actually make that final bit of
c4,
progress? And rook b5?
Exactly. Whoa.
Repeating once to gain some time.
5 seconds for Nihal. 6.8 for Hikaru.
Oh!
Wait. He's going to go rook b3. Winning. It's still winning.
But Hikaru's making it to d7!
Oh my gosh, what did he do? What did he just do?
He traded rooks at exactly the wrong moment. Hikaru might have a fortress.
Oh, the king's going to h5. The king is trying to go king f4.
No, knight h6. He blundered again.
Oh my goodness, Nihal.
That was inexcusable.
I cannot believe it. He's such a good bullet player.
He just had and he's actually the one who has to make the draw by getting rid of the last pawn.
Oh my gosh, if we bring up in that earlier position,